Hey there! I recently stumbled upon a video of TransitionSeries on Twitter and was amazed by the transition at the beginning of the video.
It's never fun to be in a hole.
Do you see how cool this effect is?
It's never fun to be in a hole.
That's just so nice. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen a video from me looking like the one of TransitionSeries. When you post a video on Twitter, you can't configure a thumbnail. When I announce a new YouTube video on Twitter, I like to post the intro with the thumbnail. I could have exported the extract with the thumbnail from my video editing software, ScreenFlow, but I couldn't find the visual effect I liked from TransitionSeries' video. So I built this effect with Remotion myself. I drew a little schema to understand how the visual effect works. At the beginning of the animation, the thumbnail takes all the place. After a few frames, the thumbnail grows and fades. The video appears from the middle of the screen and grows too. The opacity will reach 1, but for now we are near 0.2. At the 8th frame, the thumbnail disappeared and only the video remains. It continues to grow and the opacity continues to increase. At the 10th frame, the video takes all the place and the animation is stalled. To implement the animation, we will use a built-in transitions feature of Remotion. With transitions, we can program a series of sequences with durations and transitions in between. This is an example of a transition from a scene A and a scene B. You can see that there is a slide effect. Indeed, the TransitionSeries.transition component uses the slide function from Remotion transitions. Then you provide a timing function, linear timing or spring timing, with a duration. Remotion comes with many built-in transitions. However, there is not the one I want, so we will build it from zero. I created a new Remotion project with Tailwind CSS. The next step is to install Remotion Transitions module. I will create a new file called Fade Scale Transition, and I will copy the boilerplate to create custom presentations available on Remotion documentation. Okay, so we don't need parameters. I will call that fade scale transition create fade scale and there fade scale transition. Great. This module should export a function we will use to define the transition to apply between two sequences. The function I'm talking about is fade scale. I can go to the composition and I will define the transition series. It uses the Remotion transition package we just installed. Then we define a sequence, transition series sequence. This sequence will display the thumbnail I put in the public directory. To access a file, I need to use a static file function. Then I give thumbnail.png. Great. And we need to set the duration of the sequence. I will set a duration of 10 frames. I'm using a 30 FPS video, so 10 frames means 0.3 seconds. Then I will define the sequence using the video. I put the short video in public short MP4. This is a video of 31 seconds. For now, we will hardcode the duration in frames of the video. In the next step, we will calculate the duration with some functions from Remotion. And yes, for now, hardcoding it is enough. To render the video, I'm using off-red video component from Remotion, and I set the source to be static file short MP4. I need to set the duration in frames. For that, it will be 120 frames, meaning 4 seconds. Then, in between those sequences, I need to set TransitionSeries transition. This time, we need to set the presentation using the function we scaffolded for now, fetScale. And we need to set the timing function. I will use a linear timing. The duration of the animation will be 10 frames. Let's take a look at the timeline of the animation. The animation will take place between the 0 and 10 frames. The thumbnail will be rendered from the 0 to the 10th frame too, but it will stop being visible from the 8th frame. The video will be rendered from the beginning to the end of the video, represented by the F character. If we go to the Remotion Studio, we can see what the video renders for now. We have the transition series with its first sequence being the thumbnail and the second sequence being the video, displayed like this. If I play the video, you will see that this is not yet the result we expect. We still need to implement the fetScale function because for now it just renders the components we provide to it and nothing else. The fetScale transition component will be rendered for the both sequences around the transition. The presentation direction gives us the information about whether the current component is for the entering or the exiting phase. We will first implement the entering phase, that is, the video. So, is entering equals presentation direction equals entering. If we are entering, then I will first render that. Let's see if something is broken. No. So the presentation progress is a value going from 0 to 1. It tells us the progress of the animation. So we want to set the opacity of the video opacity to presentation progress, like this. If I go back there, you can see there is a fading effect. We also want the video to be scaled and not just fading. So we go to the absolute fill, and there I use a transform CSS property with the scale CSS value. And for now, we will use presentation progress value. So as a reminder, this value goes from 0 to 1. and if we inspect frame by frame, you can see that it goes from the very middle of the screen to reach bounds. I don't want this effect. I don't think it looks very good. I want the video to start from, let's say, 80% of the screen and then continue to grow. So for this, I need to use the interpolate function from Remotion. The input is a presentation progress. Then the input range is 0 to 1. And the output is 0.8 to 1. Like that. Okay. I think it looks better. Yes. If you remember, in Chantastic's video, there is a black background around the video entering. We need to implement this too. I go back to the code and I will render a new actual fill component. I set a dark gray background to the component and let's see the look it gives. Okay, let's inspect frames by frames. You can see there is a black background around the video that grows, that grows, that grows until the end. Yeah. We are good for the entering element. We now have to define the exiting one. This is for the entering. This is for the exiting. I don't need this deeply nested upshot fill components. I will define the styles there. So the opacity will go from 1 to 0. And we want the opacity to reach 0 at 80% of the video. So we want the video to continue to grow when the thumbnail already disappeared. For that, we need the interpolate function. Again, we will use progress value from 0 to 0.8, and the output is 1 to 0. Okay. You can see that the thumbnail fades. When we observe the video, we can find some strange squares in the background. This is because Remotion is telling us the video is transparent. We will fix this just to be sure that nothing is broken. We are back to the composition, and I will use an absolute fill component around the transition series. Then I will set a background the same as for the video. And now, if we go to the video, we shouldn't see these strange squares anymore. There is something to note about the interpolate function. The presentation progress value will go beyond the 0.8 value I provided there. But I'm not expecting this value to go beyond the 0 value I provided there as the maximum value. What Remotion will do is that the opacity will go in negative value. It will go, I think, to minus 0.2. And I don't want that. This is why I will set the extrapolate right property to clamp. That way, if the presentation progress value goes beyond 0.8, then it will stick with the 0 value. It won't go beyond 0. Now it's time to scale the thumbnail. So again, we use the transform property with the scale CSS value, and again the interpolate function. I use the same input range then for the opacity, and the output range this time will be 1 and 1.4. I want to scale a bit the thumbnail, but not that much. And again, I want to extrapolate right with the clamp property. If we go to the video, yeah, that looks good to me. We can see that the thumbnail disappears there, the thumbnail is not visible anymore, and then the video continues to grow for a bit. I love the visual effect, however, I think we can improve it. In the composition, I use the linear timing with its default easing value. I think we can improve it by using easing in, easing is. The result will be a curve like this. It will accelerate and accelerate the more the animation is going to end. If we go back to the Remotion Studio, we can try this new easing function. This is really thin. The improvement is really thin, but you can see that the more the time passes, the more it accelerates. We are good with the visual effect, I like it. However, we need to make the rendering of the composition dynamic. The short video, I will provide it in the public directory when I want to generate such a video, and the duration of the video will be dynamic. But for now, we made the duration of the sequence of the video fixed, so we need to fix the problem. Let's go. To make that rendering process, I will use a calculate metadata function from the composition. This function can return many properties like the duration in frames, the FPS, the width, and the height. We won't hardcode them. We will make them dynamic. FPS 30. So I want to get the short metadata. For that, meta short metadata. For that, I will use a function from Remotion, media utils package called get video metadata. I run it on my short MP4 file. Okay. And then we can return many things like the width of the composition will be the width of the short metadata. Same thing for the height. And the duration in frames. We will use a function I copy and paste in all my Remotion projects. Seconds to frames. Short duration in frames will be that. Short metadata duration in seconds. And we provide the FPS. Then we set the duration in frames of the video to this. And from this calculate metadata, we need to pass to the composition the duration of the video, because we had coded a duration of 120 frames, but that's not correct. To do this, we can use the schema of the composition. We will define the short duration in frame property. We can get it from there. Next. And instead of this hard-coded value, we use the property. Next, I set the default prop. And I need to return from the prop sphere short duration in frames. Great. We go back to the Remotion Studio, and we can see that now the duration of the video matches the duration of the composition. That's nice. This is the end of my video. where I'll say watch the full video on YouTube, and we can find it until the end. Great. I didn't use the video starting immediately. There is some delay before I start talking in the video. But in your case, you might use a video starting immediately. If you display something meaningful in the first 10 frames of your video, the user might not be able to see them. Indeed, the animation takes place in the first 10 frames of the video, that starts at the same time as the animation, so some details might not be visible to the user. It might be interesting to actually start the video after the 10 frames of the animation, and I will show you how to do this. In the public directory, I added a video that starts immediately. You can see that even before the first second, there is something to see on the screen. So we need to have this sort of delaying to make this video interesting to the user. We are back to the composition, and I will duplicate the video sequence. So there will be a first sequence, and its duration will be 10 frames. Then the second sequence will have the duration of the whole video. But in this first sequence, I will use the freeze component from Remotion. And the freeze component takes the frame property, which is able to freeze images, audio, or videos at a specific frame. So we will freeze the video at the frame 0, and for 10 frames, the first frame of the video will be displayed, and after the animation ends, we will display the rest of the video. So we are good for the freezing. Now we need to go to the root component and increase the duration in frames of the video. Indeed, we were playing the video from the beginning of the animation. Now we play the video after the animation ends, so we need to increase the duration by 10 frames. I will test now the composition on the short video that starts immediately. So I need to replace short MP4 with short starting immediately. .mp4. Let's go. And if I go to my browser, I reload, you can see that here we have the video for 10 frames, and after those 10 frames, there is another video that starts at the beginning. So you can see the video doesn't play, the video is paused during the animation, and after that, the video plays automatically. That's better when you have videos that doesn't start after delay. If, for instance, you made a rough cut in your video editing software, like I did, and thanks to this trick of the freeze component, we are able to delay starting the video by a few frames. Once again, Remotion makes it so easy to build complex things, and all with JavaScript and React code. I know I can add any visual effects to my videos thanks to Remotion. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.